ఆశీనులైనటువంటి డైరెక్టర్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాసిక్యూషన్స్ శ్రీమతి వై జయంతి గారు, అడిషనల్ డైరెక్టర్ సురేందర్ గారు, ఎదురుగా ఉన్న ప్రాసిక్యూటింగ్ మిత్రులు, మీ అందరికీ కూడా భారత స్వాతంత్ర 75వ సంవత్సర శుభాకాంక్షలు, శుభాభినందనలు. आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव शुभकामनाएं आप सभी लोगों के लिए. ఇందాక మేడం గారు అంటున్నారు, జస్ట్ ఐ విల్ స్టార్ట్ ఇన్ తెలుగు అండ్ ఆల్సో ప్రొసీడ్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్. ఎందుకంటే అట్లా మాట్లాడకపోతే కొంచెం తృప్తి ఉండదు, ఎక్కడో దగ్గర వీఆర్ మిస్సింగ్ ది ట్రాక్ అనిపిస్తుంది. లాల్ పాల్ బాల్ చెప్పారు కదా మేడం గారు, స్వరాజ్ నా జన్మ హక్కు అన్నారు వారు. అంత గట్టిగా పోరాడి ఆ రోజు అన్ని సాక్రిఫైజెస్, ఇవాళ మనం సాక్రిఫైస్కి విలువ తెలియని రోజుల్లో మనం ఉన్నాం. సాక్రిఫైస్, లిబర్టీ, స్వరాజ్ ఇవాళ ఎట్లా దొరికినాయి అంటే మనకు లిబర్టీ, స్వరాజ్ చక్కగా మనం గాలి ఎంత స్వేచ్ఛగా పీల్చగలుగుతున్నామో అంత స్వేచ్ఛగా వాటిని అనుభవించగలుగుతున్నాం. కాబట్టి మనకు వాటి విలువ తెలియట్లేదు. వాటి విలువ ఎప్పుడు తెలుస్తుందంటే, మనిషి వెంటిలేటర్ మీద పోయినప్పుడు గాలి పెడతారు కదా, మనని కూడా జైల్లో పెట్టేసినప్పుడు దానికోసం పోరాడతాం చూడండి, అలాంటప్పుడు తెలుస్తుంది. కాబట్టి స్పృహతో ఉన్నా స్పృహలో లేకపోయినా అనునిత్యం ప్రతిక్షణం మనం వీ షుడ్ ఫైట్ ఫర్ అప్లిఫ్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ స్వరాజ్, లిబర్టీ. మనొకరి లిబర్టీ కాదు, పక్క వాళ్ళ లిబర్టీ కూడా ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేయడానికి మనం అందరం కూడా ఎప్పుడు కంకణబద్ధులమై ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. ఎందుకంటే కామన్ జనరేషన్ వేరు, కామన్ పీపుల్ వేరు. వీ బిలాంగ్ టు లీగల్ ఫ్రెటర్నిటీ విచ్ ఫాట్ ఫర్ ది నేషన్. ఇఫ్ వీ రీడ్ ది హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ ఇండియా, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫ్రీడమ్ ఫైటర్స్, నేమ్ ఎనీబడి, దే కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ లీగల్ ఫ్రెటర్నిటీ ఆర్ ఫ్రమ్ డాక్టర్స్, సమ్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్. లీగల్ ఫ్రెటర్నిటీకి ఉన్న ఇంపార్టెన్స్ అలాంటిది ఆ రోజుల్లో. కాబట్టి మనం అంతా కూడా మన వృత్తితో పాటు ఇది ప్రవృత్తిగా పెట్టుకొని కళ్ళ ముందర జరుగుతున్న అన్యాయాన్ని ప్యాసివ్గా చూడడం మానేసుకొని వాటి కోసం ఒక్క క్షణం ఆలోచించాలి. ఒక చిన్న మాట చాలా సందర్భాల్లో చాలా చేంజ్ తీసుకురాగలరు. ఏక్ ఛోటీ సా నారా, ఘర్ ఘర్ తిరంగా, హర్ ఘర్ తిరంగా. చూడండి, ఇవాళ జాతీయ పతాకం కేవలం ప్రభుత్వ కార్యాలయాలకు మాత్రమే కన్ఫైన్ అయిపోయింది అని ఒకప్పుడు మేము చిన్న ఉన్నప్పుడు ప్రభాత్ బేరీ చేసేవాళ్ళం. మీకు ఎవరికైనా ఐడియా ఉందో లేదు, స్కూల్లో ప్రభాత్ బేరీ అంటే పొద్దున్న లేసేసి 4:35కి పిల్లలు లేసి స్కూల్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్తే 5:36కి ఆ ఊర్లో ఉండే వాడ మొత్తం తిరిగేది ఫ్లాగ్ పెట్టుకొని. ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్ పోయింది. ఎందుకంటే ఇవాళ స్కూల్స్ ఆర్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ ది అపార్ట్మెంట్స్, దే డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ ప్లేస్. చెప్పేవాళ్ళు లేరు, చెప్తే పాటించేవాళ్ళు లేకుండా పోయినరు. అట్లాంటిది ఈ ఒక్క చిన్న నారాతోని హట్ నుంచి, ఒక చిన్న పూరి గుడిసె నుంచి ఇట్లాంటి స్టార్ హోటల్స్ వరకు, పెట్రోల్ బంక్ నుంచి రోడ్ మీద కనపడే గేట్ వరకు, మల్టీనేషనల్ కంపెనీ నుంచి ఇంకా చిన్నగా ఎక్కడైనా వాడు పెట్టుకునే సైకిల్ పంక్చర్ చేసుకుని చిన్న షాప్ దాకా, ఎవ్రీబడి ఈజ్ హ్యావింగ్ ట్రైకలర్ ఫ్లాగ్ టు దేర్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్మెంట్ టుడే. That is the spirit of the nation, oneness, unified in diversity. Friends, this is the occasion for us to recollect the great sacrifices of our freedom fighters, known, unknown, and their contributions, who silently worked for the cause of justice. The younger generation, particularly the legal fraternity like us, need to recapitulate all those things and take it forward. I have good reasons to believe that the present generation of the prosecutors will rise to the expectation of the criminal justice system and see that a wonderful prosecuting system is established, at least in our state, under the dynamic leadership of your Director of Prosecution, Srimati Y. Jayanti Madam, because I know ma'am for the last more than 35 years, I believe so, because we are family friends in a way. And ma'am read my profile, she missed one thing. I too worked as APP for some time. I proudly say that I too worked as APP for some time. I was a tail ender in their batch. I joined in the services somewhere in October 1993 as APP and tendered my resignation on 30th April 1994, and 5594 I joined in the judicial services. That is how it is not kept anywhere in my service records that I worked. As we all know, friends, criminal justice system has got 4 components, namely the police, prosecution, judiciary and prison department, which is correction department. As madam has rightly said that police has got their own establishment, their own offices, their own conference halls, everything means everything. We too have not that much palacious, but we have minimum requirements at our academy, and resources also we do have good. Prison department is almost having all facility like police department. The only department that is neglected is our department, but the blame always goes to prosecution. If a witness turns hostile, if a witness has not supported the case of prosecution, because before the case come to the court, there is social media trial is going on. They give convictions, they give death sentence, they give everything. But the moment the actual case comes to the trial, it is we who have to conduct the trial. It is the prosecutor who has to produce the evidence. It is the court which has to evaluate the evidence based on the settled principles of law as per the Indian Evidence Act, where though morally the court may be feeling that that fellow has committed guilt, but we may not be able to give such a finding in view of the legal barriers. That is the reason it is high time to improve the facilities, to improve the allocation of budget to the prosecution. I believe that during the tenure of your dynamic DOP, you are likely to get some more facilities. Madam has told us that prosecution houses in the district court complexes initially. While I was Registrar General, this proposal is moved. Almost we called for the information from all the district judges. I believe that 90% of the district judges have given their consent. Matter may be pending before our committee. Our committee means building committee. Now I am one of the members of the building committee. We try to convince the other members, and once it is approved by the building committee, naturally with the approval of the Honorable Chief Justice, it will be released and sent the message to the Director of Prosecutions. We wish that we try from our side our best. Friends, on the role of public prosecutor, Padma Shri Professor N.R. Madhav Menon, in his article Strengthening the Prosecution, had quoted objective of the prosecution proceedings. I quote, the prosecution proceedings, the prosecution object is to protect the innocent and seek conviction of the guilty. Prosecutor is motivated neither by any sense of revenge nor any commitment to get conviction. Therefore, public prosecutor's basic role is to place all evidences before the court, irrespective whether it goes against or is likely to help the accused. Friends, this is high time that your role has become more prominent, because we are selecting our judicial first class magistrate directly from the law colleges. We don't have that condition of 3 years practice like it is for the APPs. At times our officers are more young than you also. Younger generations newly entered into profession without any exposure to the court crafts, you know how the things will move. That's the reason I reiterate that public prosecutor is friend, philosopher and guide of the court. At the time of necessity, you are supposed to guide the court properly, even if anything goes against you also, because honestly feeling, a public prosecutor is not merely standing there only to get convictions. You are there to protect the system, to protect the constitutional rights of the people, constitutional right of the innocent person who is falsely implicated at times. That's the reason I reiterate that public prosecutor is an important and significatory part of the judicial system. Prosecution system functions as an umbrella of the Constitution where the fundamental rights of the victim as well as the accused are protected. Since our system considers every person as innocent unless proved guilty, and keeping this principle in mind, prosecutor should always play a role and function in its neutrality. Please don't insist. Conviction always brings lot of change in the system. I had an experience while I was working as a junior civil judge in particular part of Rayalaseema where there was faction. Always they used to keep, even for Gaming Act also they were adding section 5 years 5 of Explosive Substance Act, saying that unless this section is kept, you are releasing then and there itself on bail and that fellow is coming. But due to improper investigation or lack of legal inputs in the investigation, almost 99% of the cases were ending in acquittal. Then I spoke to the additional SP. He came to me. I gave him some tips. This is the way you are expected to recover, to seize and to produce the material before us, so that we can give some conviction. Otherwise, even in a Gaming Act, if you are seeing that when they are playing some cards, when the police tried to chase them, they were throwing the bombs on them. That is the prosecution case. Could anybody believe this version? That's the reason I told. Thereafter, all the cases which were pending under 5 years act were disposed of by me. Then I suggested my APP, probably he is not there in services, or if he is there, he is in that area, to take 3 or 4 sessions to the officers in my jurisdiction where I was working as JFCM, and properties were seized, remnants were collected in a proper way. Defense counsel were under the impression that these all the matters are likely to be given clean acquittals. I started giving convictions. You believe it or not, the additional SP has come. Sir, memu 100 కేసులు పెడితే there is no response, sir. ఒక కన్విక్షన్ వల్ల చాలా రిఫర్మేషన్ వస్తుంది. మీరు 6 months నుంచి కన్విక్షన్స్ ఇస్తున్నారు. మాకు ఈ లిమిట్స్లో జెన్యున్గా బాంబ్స్ వెతుకుతామంటే దొరకట్లేదు సార్ అని అంటారు. This is the compliment given by the police authorities. That could be the impact of conviction. You are there to get the conviction, to support the prosecution. At the same time, as a friend, philosopher and guide of the court, you don't mislead the court. Wherever you have a weak case, protect the fundamental right of the innocent victim or the accused. That's my earnest appeal to you all. Friends, I once again say that you put your heart and soul in the system. Madam was saying that earlier, earlier the PPs were being appointed only by the district collectors. District collector was the appointing authority, district collector was entirely doing, and the director of prosecution anedi ledu. Thereafter, a senior police officer was heading the institution. Thereafter, a district judge was coming. Thereafter, some part-time officers are full additional charges. For the first time, one officer from the prosecutions, right from assistant public prosecutor, rose to the cadre of head of the department. She knows each and every problem of the department, because once a person from the grassroots level heads the institution, the advantage is that they know the problems. They have a inner desire to change the department, because they faced all that humiliation, problems, everything while working at the grassroots level to support the system. That is the reason I believe that in her regime only, system should set right, system should have its own independent existence. Friends, for effective functioning of any establishment, there are 4 qualities for functional excellence. They are punctuality, probity, promptness and patience. Punctuality. Without punctuality, we are not even to be deserve to be called as human beings, because we need to maintain punctuality. Out of the 3 bells, by 3rd bell, our officer should be on the bench. Likewise, our public prosecutor should be also on the bench to assist the court. You should not take any lame excuse of briefing the witnesses or something else, or talking the IO or briefing the IO in the EO chambers. That's not expected of. Be punctual. Punctuality sends strong messages to outside world. And if you are available, probably our officers also may not retire from the chamber, from the bench to the chambers. Promptness, ensure prompt production of witnesses. If a witness comes to you and says that, sir, I am willing to give evidence, suddenly you say that it takes some time to brief you, come on next time. Accused will be watching the scene. What happens next time, you know. Please, witness is our lifeline. Protect the witness. If you protect the witness, conviction automatically it comes. Recently, I heard to a senior police officer that in a keen contest matter, when the witness has come to the public prosecutor in Hyderabad only, the public prosecutor has taken time from the court under the guise of briefing the witness. By the next time, the accused saw the witness, hostile. Case ended in clean acquittal. Accused is a big mafia. That's how the things move on, where promptness is required. Probity. Nobody is required to probity. Take your ma'am, director of prosecution, as a role model for your probity, because maintaining absolute high standards, moral integrity and uprightness as a leader of the department or institution is essential. She is your leader at the state level. You are the leader at your respective court level. You are your leader at the district, who is the PP admin. You please apprise the witnesses, apprise the officers, when the officers, police officers to bring the witnesses. If on the very same day morning at 10:30, if the witness is brought, naturally you may be having some difficulty, because you may not have the file. Witness will say something, 161 CRPC statement will be there, absolutely not, something else will be recorded there. All these problems will be there. That's the reason, if a keen contest matter is there, ask the investigation officer to come and meet you 1 or 2 days ahead, so that you will be able to give time on Saturday or some days and brief the. I believe that most of the PPs won't go to the courts on Saturday, because you don't have accommodation to sit, you don't have anybody to meet you. That's the reason. Utilize that particular period time where nobody comes to you, to brief your witnesses, to strengthen the witness, because as I repeat again, witness is our lifeline. If the witness says conviction is there, if there is no evidence, no conviction, court cannot give conviction, you cannot fight for conviction. At the same time, even if witness is irritating also, have patience. That is the prime quality for a prosecutor, or even for that matter for a defense advocate. Friends, most of the time litigant stops his journey or her journey only to the extent of junior civil judge court or judicial first class magistrate courts. At least 50% of the litigation ends there itself. So you are the embodiment of the entire judicial edifice before the common man in India. You have lot of responsibility. That's the reason I say that a vibrant subordinate judiciary, including the prosecution, is the need of the hour. We need to curb the inordinate delays, escalating cost of litigation and inequality in the system, and make that justice delivery system is affordable goal to everybody. But we have to be optimistic and work together, not only to uphold the rule of law and to ensure that litigant does not lose the faith in the system. I say that faith of the litigant is the spirit, and it is only the source for our survival. If the public lose their faith in us, nothing is left for us, because we are sitting elsewhere. Parties are quarreling. A victim comes to the police station, lodges a report. He left the police station. Again he comes to the court only to give evidence. That is the faith he reposes on the system. He comes to the court, something else is recorded in 161 CRPC statement and something else is happening. He loses the faith. సార్ నేనేదో చెప్పినాను కానీ జడ్జి గారు ఏం రాసుకున్నారో పీపీ గారు ఏం చెప్పినారో వాడికి శిక్ష పడలేదు, వాడు వచ్చి మళ్ళీ నన్ను బెదిరిస్తున్నాడు, ఏం చేస్తుంది చెప్పండి. దట్ ఇస్ ద రీజన్ వీ నీడ్ టు restore the faith of the common man in the system. Friends, finally I say that I conclude by quoting the words of Dr. Rajendra Prasad at the concluding session of the Constituent Assembly meetings. He said, I quote, "Whatever the Constitution may or may not provide, the welfare of the country will depend upon the way in which the country is administered. That will depend upon the men who administer it. Constitution like machine is lifeless thing. It acquires life because of the men who control it and operate it, and India needs today nothing more than a set of honest men who will have interest of the country before them." I unquote. Please adopt, apply, implement the above words of Dr. Rajendra Prasad for our institution also. Nothing more is required from us, and no sacrifices are expected from any of us by the society. Society only expects that you should be honest, committed, with all conviction you discharge your duties with 4 P's, as I said. Friends, finally I say that let us always remember and recapitulate the great words of Magna Carta. To none shall we deny justice, to none shall we delay justice, to none shall we sell justice. Thank you everyone.